Ramaphosa says the ruling by the International Court of Justice is binding to Israel, and he expects Tel Aviv to abide by the orders.
This order is binding on Israel and must be respected by all states that are party to the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide. We expect Israel, as a self-proclaimed democracy and a state that respects the rule of law, to abide by the measures handed down by the International Court of Justice. After more than half a century of occupation, dispossession, oppression, and apartheid, the Palestinian people's cries for justice have been heeded by an eminent organ of the United Nations. Today, Israel stands before the international community, its crimes against the Palestinians laid bare.
Nomvula Mokonyane, the first Deputy Secretary General of the ANC, joins me now. Mokonyane, I appreciate your time. Thanks so much for speaking to us. I suppose let's get a reaction from you. I mean, you've previously said that the Israeli embassy in Pretoria was arrogant. Just how pleased are you with the ruling that's come out of the ICJ today?
On behalf of the ANC and all other progressive forces that have been part of the solidarity movement and continues to stand with the people of Palestine, we are quite elated by the ruling of the court. We do believe that this is a step forward in dealing with what the South African government has taken through to the ICJ, that of ensuring that there's humanitarian aid. And all that has been tabled by the court actually, in summary, calls for ceasefire and responsibility by the apartheid Israeli government. Lastly, we do believe that all said and done, all those who love peace and yearn for prosperity must persuade the apartheid Israeli government to cooperate with all institutions and ensure that there's everlasting peace both in Israel and in Palestine.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has been adamant about Israel's position. In fact, in many words, to paraphrase, he said they'll continue to defend themselves. Do you expect Israel to abide or to comply by the court's orders?
The ball is in their court. We expect that they would actually abide if they actually are signatories to the Genocide Act. If they are signatories to other conventions, they must actually make sure that they demonstrate that theirs is not about arrogance as well as narrow nationalist interests, but it is about making sure that there is a better world. We are also looking forward to the United Nations and other multinational platforms that have a responsibility of holding the apartheid Israeli government accountable. But what the ICJ has done today vindicates us that this has been a crime against humanity, as it has been tabulated in terms of the points that the judge raised, starting from A to D, about what actually contributes towards the undermining of the rights of ethnic groups, cultural groups, a nation, or people who are together and whose rights are being undermined. It's A up to D, and I think this is what we must all learn, that constitutes a crime against humanity.
Mokonyane, this is obviously a very proud day for the people of South Africa, the South African government in particular. Clearly a huge amount of support for the people of Palestine. Now, outside of this level of support, have you physically been supporting the people of Palestine? Has aid or anything to that effect been going to Gaza to support the distraught people of that strip?
We have done it prior to the 7th of October. We have done it, we have been physically in there as the ANC. We have been mobilizing the resources, and those resources couldn't go in. And now that this has happened, we will, in action, call upon everybody to come and witness what we are capable of mobilizing, not only in South Africa, but in Africa and the world over. and not only in terms of humanitarian aid, but also in terms of using our various multinational platforms where we belong, such as the United Nations, the UN Security Council, the Commission on the Rights of Women and Children of the United Nations, the BRICS community, as well as our bilateral relationships that we have. The ANC itself, we've been crisscrossing the world, as what we learned from Comrade President Oliver Tambo with the Harare Declaration, that you need nations of the world to understand why we took this position. We just came back from Tanzania with the SG. We have been commended even by our friends from the sister parties from the liberation movement in the region, who say we were brave, but we must know we didn't act for ourselves, we acted in the interest of humanity.
Now, this is a very important year for the ANC. It is an election year. And also this weekend, the ANC-NEC meeting. Is Jacob Zuma on that agenda?
No, there's no such a thing called Jacob Zuma on the ANC agenda.
What is the ANC, particularly the NEC, contemplating regarding his membership? There have obviously been a number of suggestions on whether or not he remains a member of the ANC. What is the official position of the party?
The ANC today received the political overview as well as the report of the National Working Committee. Then we adjourned for us receiving the report from the Hague, and thereafter we then resolved to adjourn the NEC and attend the funeral of one of our own members of the National Executive Committee members, Comrade Mam Violet Suela. We will be reconvening again on Sunday. The outcomes of the NEC will be communicated by the SG.
Are you concerned by parties such as Umkhonto weSizwe party and other parties that are mushrooming ahead of this year's election?
We are concerned about those that deny the fact that a lot has been done. And of course, a lot still needs to be done. We are concerned also about the mushrooming of populist parties, parties that do not actually put the interests of South Africans as their priority, but those who are coming out to gang up against the African National Congress. And for now, we will be going to KwaZulu-Natal to launch our manifesto. And our manifesto will be about what the ANC brings to take forward the successes that we have been able to deliver working together with our people over the past 30 years, as well as saying this is how we can do better moving forward. Any other thing that stands against the ANC remains a challenge that we must confront, and confront with honesty and determination, but refuse to be diverted from what is the core mandate of dealing with poverty, inequality, and unemployment.
Ma'am, before we let you go, service delivery is one of those issues that's been a thorn in the flesh of many South Africans ahead of this election. Do you expect to turn around service delivery issues in the next 4 months?
South Africans have received the reports from the Statistician General, and those reports speak for themselves, reports that have continuously been welcomed by society in general. It is not only the ANC that can say a lot has been done. Of course, we are also concerned about the growing levels of inequality, the growing levels of crimes against women and children, and hence our processes of consultation in developing a manifesto that must then take us forward in defense of our hard-won democracy and in defense of our responsibility as the African National Congress to move South Africa forward.
Ma'am Nomvula Mokonyane, the first Deputy Secretary General of the ANC, appreciate your time. Thanks for speaking to us this evening.